Hold up, my door is open. Let me close that. I came as soon as I could. This came out an hour ago. I was making lunch for myself, and then I saw it, and I was like, well, let me eat first, and then let me talk about it. So here I am. I'm recording for the second time today, but it's all good. I had to talk about this real quick, but Jiří Procházka has vacated the UFC light heavyweight title. He pulled out of the fight with Glover Teixeira for the UFC 282 main event after suffering a serious injury. And what does that mean? Does Glover Teixeira get a replacement opponent? No. Jan Blachowicz and Magomed Ankalaev, which was the co-main event, they are now fighting on the main event. On the main event spot. So, what does this mean? It first got brought to my attention when Ryan Frederick tweeted out. He was the first one I saw talk about it. Jan Blachowicz vs. Magomed Ankalaev is the new main event for UFC 282 and will also be for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Okay, so what happened was Jiří vacated his title because he didn't want to hold up the division, and then the UFC made the new title bout for Jan Blachowicz and Magomed Ankalaev. And they will be fighting for the championship on the main event. I mean, this is a big opportunity for them, just like a few weeks, maybe just under 3 weeks away from 282. So, big opportunity for both these guys. Big opportunity for Magomed Ankalaev to fight for the title for the first time in his career. And big opportunity for Jan Blachowicz to try to get that title back. Jiří Procházka is going through a serious injury and vacated the title to keep the division going. And the reason why Glover Teixeira is not fighting for that title instead is because he turned down the shot. He turned down the title shot, and he explains it here. Like, I was asking why Glover will turn it down. He trained for 3 months specifically for Jiří. With 2 weeks of camp left, it's hard to switch opponent with a completely different style. It's true, and it's valid. And another thing is, Glover Teixeira is, I mean, he's like 42 or 43. I think he's 43 now. And, I mean, when you're 43, it's just like, you're running out of time to fight as a 43-year-old. And you know it's true. Like, oh, Glover Teixeira breaks through at 42. But as that time keeps going, it's going to be harder to break in at 43, 44, 45. And by the time you're 46, you can't or you shouldn't. You shouldn't be competing in mixed martial arts after that, professionally. But, yeah, once you're 43, I mean, you want to have the minimum amount of fights possible. You want to fight for that title, and you want to make sure that you get it back. It's crazy to me that Glover Teixeira didn't retire after losing to Jiří. Well, not that crazy, because it was a close loss, and he should be hungry to get that back. But most people would have retired. Most people would have said, it was fun, and I had my moments, and I had my time, but it's time that I hang up the gloves, right? Most people would have said that, not Glover Teixeira. And for Glover Teixeira to pull out, it means that, you know, he was really focused on Jiří for this fight. And for him to pull out, it's like, well, who am I going to fight now? I wouldn't want to fight anybody. Shit, I'm 43, and I want to retire soon enough. I just want to fight Jiří, get that title back, and then whatever happens next, happens next. He's not trying to fight another fight before that could lose him that opportunity, or that can give him more damage than he needs right now. So for him to turn down that title shot after Jiří vacated that title, it makes sense. It makes sense. And we can't go after either of them for either thing. It makes sense. The injury was apparently a shoulder injury. Significant shoulder injury. And out of the respect of the division, he vacated the title. It's true. And the new main event for the undisputed light heavyweight title is Blachowicz number 2 versus Ankalaev number 3. It's from the UFC's Twitter, official Twitter. They tweeted it out like 20 minutes ago now. So, so yeah. Oh shit, my bad. So if you look at 282 at the top there, the second one, Jiri Procházka, Glover Teixeira, is gonna be off. So what is the event gonna look like now? What is like the main card gonna look like? So with Jan Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev being the new main event for the title, Paddy Pimblett versus Jaron Gordon is expected to be the co-main, which is crazy to have a co-main event on a UFC pay-per-view already in just your fourth ever fight there. It's impressive, and it's gonna build up. If he wins, at least it's gonna do really good in building up Paddy Pimblett's hype. Obviously it's gonna be tough for him to get into those lightweight rankings, because I mean it's tough trying to get into the rankings. I mean, in the last three events, or in the last three times that the rankings have been updated, it's been a different lightweight contender entering the rankings every time. At first, it was Drew Dober when when Makhachev won the vacant title, so there was more space for another contender to enter. Drew Dober entered as number 15, and then the next week he was taken off the rankings and replaced. I forgot his name, but then the week after that was UFC 281, and obviously Moicano asked to be in the rankings. So then he got 13th place, and then McGregor and Ferguson were booted down to 14th and 15th. So, I mean, it's going to be tough if Paddy Pimblett wants to get into those rankings. But I guess whatever it takes. And Robbie Lawler's got to stay on that main card. Bryce Mitchell and Ilia Topuria has to stay on that main card. Now, who's going to be the fifth fight on that main card? Who's going to replace that? Who's gonna fill in that empty spot that's still there? Is it gonna be Owen St. Preux and Philip Lins? No way. Because look, if Alexander Gustafsson was still fighting Owen St. Preux, then maybe, then most likely. But now that Gustafsson had to pull out, I don't think that's gonna be in the main card. We could look at Raul Rosas Jr., the youngest UFC fighter ever in the history of the UFC. It's possible, but in my opinion, I think some of the fights with ranked fighters like Darren Till and Dricus du Plessis, Jairzinho Rosenstrike and Chris Daukaus, or Chris Curtis and Joaquin Buckley, I think those fights deserve that main card spot better. If I had to pick just one, I'd pick the Darren Till and du Plessis fight. That's just me personally. You could have a different opinion. Maybe Chris Curtis, Joaquin Buckley gets that opportunity and shoots right up to the main card. But we'll see. I mean, this is just how the current state of UFC 282 is. It's still gonna be a great card. Obviously, like, I was really bummed out when I got this news. It's like, shit. I mean, this card was almost perfect. And I don't know, this card has just had like so many pullouts, had like 3 or 4 pullouts so far, big name fighters, and it almost had another one due to Darren from Darren Till. Shit, like Gustafsson pulled out, Bo Nickel pulled out, a few other guys pulled out, and now Jiri and Glover are pulling out. Like, man, that's tough. But I mean, we move. The UFC is going to continue to put on great events. Was this the right move? I think so. I think making it for the title was definitely the right move as well. I mean, it was the only move, really. You couldn't really make them not fight for the title. You couldn't make them fight for the interim title either, because Jiri vacated. So, I mean, respect to Jiri for vacating out of respect for the division, but I mean, it's still sad. You can't lie. So, Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. Jan Blachowicz is coming off of a TKO win over Alexander Rakic. And even though Blachowicz was losing that fight, Rakic injured his knee like halfway into the third round. So he was ruled the winner by TKO. Magomed Ankalaev, he's coming off of a win from Anthony Smith, who was announced to be fighting Jamal Hill just a couple minutes ago. This fight is happening now. In March 11th, that's pretty crazy. That's cool. So, yeah, I mean, this is the new state of the event, and this is going to be the new state of the light heavyweight division. Who do I think is going to win this fight? I want to make a video about it, obviously, when I review it. But I want you all to hear me out. I'm just going to say it. And you guys are going to think I'm crazy when I say the whole thing. But I have a feeling that I'm going to be right. Just hear me out. Magomed Ankalaev should win this fight easily. That's not controversial. He should win this fight. I mean, I feel like he's better in most aspects of MMA. He has more hype, more what? He's got a bigger winning streak. He's got some more impressive finishes. Not more impressive finishes. I lied about that. They both have really good and impressive finishes, both of them. It's hard to pick which one has more impressive finishes, but Magomed Ankalaev has a lot more leverage right now, coming off of crazy win streaks, crazy finishes, over Jan Blachowicz, who's coming off of a controversial TKO win. Right? But I'm not done. Magomed Ankalaev is better in most aspects and should win. But Jan Blachowicz, hear me out. Jan Blachowicz will win the fight. Go ahead. Say what you want. But Magomed Ankalaev should win that fight. But Jan Blachowicz will win. And I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say why I think this is how it's gonna be, but I don't want to say it. I'll say it after it's all said and done. Maybe Blachowicz wins, maybe he loses. I'm definitely gonna give my reasoning as to why I say this after UFC 282. Magomed Ankalaev should win, but Jan Blachowicz will win. I'm not gonna say anything more. You guys are gonna think I'm crazy, and you're right. You have every right to think that, and it's okay. I'll explain everything after December 10th. I'll explain everything. But yep, sad to see Jiří Procházka vacate this title in that way. Sad we couldn't see the sequel or the rematch to the amazing war that they had in June earlier this year. Very sad to see, but who knows? Maybe we'll see Jan Blachowicz recapture, or we'll see Magomed Ankalaev get that title for the first time. We'll see a new champion, and yeah, I mean that's all there really is to say. A little bit of a shorter video here, but I just had to. I was gonna do like some kind of community post, but nah, this deserved its own video entirely. So yeah. UFC 282, Blachowicz versus Ankalaev.